coming up on Jordan and Peter Laid Bare.
I think the paparazzi aren't just obsessed with the two of us. I think they're obsessed with anyone or anybody they think they can make money from. Front page of the Sun today, describing all how apparently we shagged in his escort.
People aren't nice. You know, people aren't nice.
She said he's got a chipolata when he's got like a boil.
These are the paparazzi. They have a job to do, to follow the rich and famous in search of exclusive photographs. And they'll stop at nothing to get the money shot.
What makes them any different to a stalker or a pervert? The only difference is with them is they have a camera that they use for work. That's it. They are perverts or stalkers with cameras. It's as simple as that.
Most of us will never encounter this kind of intrusion as we go about our daily business, but celebrities need only look over their shoulder and come face to face with a 50-inch lens.
Let's start it off like this.
Up there, Pete. That was a big camera, that one.
But the paparazzi are working to a brief set by their tabloid paymasters, the journalists who are crying out for copy on Britain's sexiest celebrity couple.
Considering they slate us all the time, they must fancy you or fancy... I think they fancy me anyway, them girls.
Do you know
they
what I
always
reckon?
at me.
Yeah, the 3 AM girls fancy you, and this Dominic Diamond, where is he? Dominic Diamond
Oh,
in
he's
that
in the
other
other paper.
He must fancy me.
No,
He
Joe
keeps
Motz
writing about-
fancies you.
No, Joe Motz is all right.
No, they...
Some might say that Katie and Peter only have themselves to blame.
If you court the press, chances are they might turn back and bite you.
Well, she started it because if she like flashes around with mini skirts on and that, like going in nightclubs and that with mini skirts flashing the knockers and that. So the press want to know it.
It's just the way celebrities are. If you're going to be a celebrity, that's what you've got to accept.
Yeah.
Katie and Peter's relationship with the press is volatile. They expect to be publicised, but they don't like extra attention, nor do they like their ex-partners to sell stories about them to the red tops. But is that the price of fame?
I don't see why Jordan and Peter are entitled to any privacy ever again in their entire life.
Jordan has always been a tabloid obsession. Her ability to flaunt, tease and strip have kept the gossip columns packed with titbits.
I absolutely admire her skill at playing the press and keeping herself ever at the forefront.
Jordan's great talent, and it borders on genius, is her ability to work the press and to work the media.
To come out of nightclubs at the right moment, to have the right managers, the right agents, the right people rigging up the photographers.
She knows what people want to read, she knows what will make the headlines, she'll know what pictures the press will want. You know, for example, I'd go to a nightclub with Kate and I'll be sitting in a cab or the car waiting for her to get in, and she'll get in and wink at me and just, you know, stick her bum out, tattoo showing, everything. You know, there's a great big flash bulbs. Next day, there's her arse there with a big tattoo, you know, and she says, you know, I know it's going to go in the paper because it's there. So she knows what people want.
She does not run out of ways to get headlines and attention. I think she's great at it, and more power to her. I mean, if the press is hungry enough to pay her to do this, and people are, you know, interested enough to buy the newspaper to see her, well, good on her.
When Jordan hooked up with pop star Peter Andre, the press couldn't get enough of it, and there were no shortage of headlines. The tabloids know they've hit celebrity gold with this glamour girl and her racy past, plus her pop star fiancé with a six-pack.
I think they're huge as a celebrity couple now. I mean, you cannot walk into any newsagents, can you, without seeing them plastered on every magazine. Whatever I read, whichever mag I'm open up, there they are looking at me. And now they're all over telly. I mean, they're the Osbournes, they're Posh and Becks, they're all of those things wrapped up, and good luck to them.
I think every celebrity couple has their day, and this is their day.
She always looks great in pictures, he looks terrific, they get lots and lots and lots of coverage. Usually when it's a tabloid paper, she's done a deal with the paper anyway, so it's going to be favourable coverage.
It's a mix of just enough phoniness and just enough reality that it keeps us guessing all the time.
I think the paparazzi aren't just obsessed with the two of us. I think they're obsessed with anyone or anybody they think they can make money from.
It's people look up to them, and, you know, you've got Kate, the mum, with the child, great glamour job, you know, a lot of girls would love to do the job that she does. Pete, the pop star, the hunk, the bod, the image. It's like an ideal coupling, and they do work well together. It's, yeah, it's weird.
Fleet Street's finest never run short of headlines, whatever the story.
Yeah, lovely, keep it there.
But it works both ways, and now together Katie and Peter can play the media game for all it's worth, especially when it comes to one lucrative source of income, a well-known celebrity magazine.
Have we got news for you?
Read all about our romantic engagements.
Only in OK.
Find out which wedding dress I choose only in OK. In OK.
Every other week they're featured in OK magazine, whether it's buying Christmas presents, doing this, doing that, whatever, you know, so they are using that as part of their rebuilding of their branding.
Love sells, relationship sells, and things like OK magazine, love a good love story, and obviously it's really nice to do stuff like that.
The Jordan Peter Andre wedding is going to be the ticket of the year. It's going to be absolutely sensational.
I don't know if they've sold it yet, but they certainly obviously will sell it, and I'm sure the bidding is enormous. God, what a war that would be to get the rights to their wedding.
Come the day of the wedding, and if they decide to go with OK, which we very much hope they do, the security will be phenomenal, because we know there'll be paparazzi getting up to all sorts of tricks.
It wouldn't be surprised me if they got a tape measure out when OK comes out, or the News of the World, whatever it might be, and actually start to measure column inches and picture display. These people live for the limelight, they love the limelight, and I wouldn't be the slightest bit surprised if they judged the limelight. I'd love to be a fly on the wall watching.
God, who's that stunner? Who's that stunner? I have to support myself, you know.
Courting the press and glossy magazines for publicity can only have one outcome. Yes, they'll print your story today, but tomorrow they'll bite back with a tale spun out of nowhere. Juicy details of celebrity feuds make great copy.
How stupid is that? Andre, I'll deck Bex. If they really wanted a good pun, they should have said Peck will deck Beck. Anyway, the thing is, it's stupid, because David Beckham's one of my heroes, mate. As if I'd ever have an argument with him, and as if this whole Jordan and Posh thing's all rubbish. So what? And even if they didn't like each other, she's never done anything wrong to me, Posh.
Our lovers can take most flack, but what hurts are constant jibes over Pete's singing. Take last October, when it was reported he got pelted on stage.
You know, it upsets you when you haven't done anything wrong, and you just get dickheads like this. Dominic Diamond, I don't know what paper he writes for, when he says things like, you know, I wish he'd stop bloody singing. Of course they're going to throw bottles at him because he can't sing. I've heard him sing live, he can't hold a note. He's going, he can hold a note as good as I hold Michelle McManus. It gives people the impression, oh, well, you know, if he says he's no good, he mustn't be good. It's like, it was about 5 yobs in a crowd of 2,000, and the whole story's been made that I was pelted with this, that and the other. Yeah, by those 5 knobs I was, but who cares? It only upsets me when you do nothing wrong. Yeah, it would be nice for some of them, before they want to criticise, to come down, watch a show from start to finish, then by all means give your opinion. But when you just, you know...
Because they don't want you to be good, because you're a good-looking guy, you've got talent, and you've got to remember the British press, you know, and people don't like giving people, you know, they don't like to big them up.
Next, the Paps cross Katie's line for the last time.
And the press have been absolute scum, if you ask me.
An unwelcome visitor pays a visit to East Sussex.
Take a picture of that.
And why's Katie become camera shy?
I prefer it, please, if you don't come with me.
Katie and Peter know their worth. They also know how to get back at the press when they're not happy. Don't give them their shot. Take the arrival of a brand new Ferrari last December to a London hotel where Katie was staying because of work commitments. The paparazzi were everywhere, but Katie stood her ground. There's nothing Katie would like more than to put her foot down along Park Lane, but the first tryout has to take place underground, out of sight.
We're looking at it down here because it's all paparazzi up there, so that's why there's no way I'm even test driving it tonight. Bollocks to them. Why give it to them? Oh no. My lamp will be off now. Oh, wicked! This is the nut!
As Katie revs the engine on her Ferrari Spider, almost a year has passed since she first met Peter in the jungle. Their early days were spent in the very same hotel, hiding from the very same paps. The newspapers were desperate to know the truth of their fledgling relationship, but Katie and Peter were just as determined to keep it under wraps.
Are you together in a relationship?
No, we talk a lot on the phone.
I hate being single.
So you're single now?
Yes, I am.
So you two officially on together now then?
Oh, we're getting to know each other.
Yeah, okay.
While Peter was amused keeping details of his romance private, Katie was ecstatic about being able to take a holiday with her new fella. They played hard and they worked hard too, with a special photo shoot for a well-known celebrity magazine.
My first holiday with Pete has been really good, you know. We've been away from the English press, we've been able to relax, like going out on the boats, like freedom. It's been brilliant.
But the peace didn't last, and word got back to London of Katie and Peter's adventures, and the paparazzi were soon on their tail. Midway through a photo shoot, their manager Claire got a call to say the paparazzi had arrived on the island, desperate to get their all-important shot.
They know which hotel you're in. 3 photographers have already arrived, and they're trying to get you drinking out tonight.
That's right, so
But there's quite a few of them have been coming out, so they're spreading the net.
As soon as we get back, we'll go.
Yeah.
Soon as.
Our stuff and get
The only solution was to whisk our stars away from the prying lenses. They huddled into 2 speedboats, disguised in the most convincing manner possible.
Covert up, covert up.
The paparazzi never got their shots in Cyprus, and OK Magazine won its scoop.
I reveal why this has been the best holiday of my life.
Only in OK. Now 1 second. We reveal why this has been
the best holiday of our lives.
only in OK. That's what we should do. Okay, ready?
We reveal why this has been the best holiday of our lives, ever.
Only in OK.
You're interrupting.
Back in Britain, and now with their relationship in the open, Pete moved into Katie's East Sussex mansion. But there was no escaping those pesky pressmen, who hunted them at home in a chartered helicopter. Pete stood his ground with brother Mike.
There's a helicopter circling us. We get people coming up the driveway a lot. Does he come round about 5 times?
Yeah. It's just
oh, we
circling.
better strip them, eh? Give him a bit of value for money. Oh, he's doing the full turnage, the full turnage. Take a picture of that. Yeah!
When she first bought the house, no one knew, except for family and the estate agent and what have you. Then a week later, there's an aerial shot, and you think, well, how do these people get this information? And, you know, it's like it's an invasion of your privacy, and it's not just Kate it happens to, it happens to other stars and stuff. And, you know, as a brother and from the family point of view, her and Peter's now, their personal security is important to us, because it's not just Kate, it's Harvey and Peter as well.
With pictures valued at anything up to 20 grand, it's no wonder that Katie and Peter are hunted wherever they go.
If there's a good paparazzi shot, it would be worth thousands or hundreds of thousands to that photographer, because then they could literally be flogged to magazines, newspapers. Magazines could run them on covers and pretend they got exclusives with Katie and Peter.
The main things that make the money and really, you know, create their own sort of microeconomy are the sort of snapped paparazzi shots of her getting out, going to her house, etc.
By October, the whole world knew that Katie and Peter were dating, and speculation was rife that they might tie the knot. In fact, they had been engaged in secret for 5 months. But outside the privacy of their home, they were ever on the alert for prying photographers.
I prefer it, please, if you don't come with me to the jewellers, only because if there are some rats out there, they will try and find which shop I've gone to, try and find how much I paid for the ring, and go in there, ask questions, what else I've bought and everything, and it's private, so... Not that I don't want you guys to come with me, I just... You know, some things it's nice to be kept private. Right, see you in a minute, guys. I'll be really quick.
On the day Katie went to collect her engagement ring for Pete, even our crew was not permitted to film the location of the jeweller's shop.
Do you want to see it? Ta-da! I can't wait to see his face.
Yeah.
I might ring Pete in a minute and go, guess what? I didn't get it.
Oh, I don't say that when you record it.
He done that.
But Katie was successful, and she was able to blow Pete away with her enormous ring without the press ever getting wind.
Oh my.
Do you like it? No.
Oh,
do you like it?
God.
You weren't expecting that one, was you, cowboy? Oh, I'm glad you love it, baby.
Bling bling. Bling
Why don't you
bling.
just bling off, alright?
Bling bling.
Dr. Evil.
Wow, expensive. Oh my God.
Okay?
It's rare for Peter and Katie to avoid the press, especially when they're out and about in public. A day of clothes shopping in London can bring the paparazzi out in force.
Yeah, let's just get
Katie! Oh, that's gross ones don't die.
Being chased throughout the UK by the paparazzi has become the norm for our couple. But even they couldn't have anticipated the lengths the press would go to when Katie and Peter planned a luxurious Caribbean cruise last November to celebrate their engagement.
Just sit down, I want to tell you this story, look.
Problems began for Katie and Peter before they'd even set sail, when details of the cruise itinerary were leaked to the press.
Over the last few days, who do you reckon you've told?
The only people I've told, and the family that are going, and the two friends I'm taking are the only people who know.
Well, what does it say? I mean, how do we know it's not from the travel company themselves?
And I'll have to find out who it is, because that's pissed me off.
That's pissed
Especially with you paying, I mean, it's costing you thousands to go on this trip.
And imagine how many thousands
But I just
they
wanted
got
to
to
tell
give
you
the
before
story.
you left to go home. It's really sad that somebody that's close to them has actually sold a story to the paper, and it's now just made Katie and Peter not want to talk about anything to anybody.
How would they know all these details if they weren't going on the cruise? This is the thing. You know, and then you start wondering who. There's 21 people going, what are you going to do? Start, did you say it? Did you say it? You can't.
Despite this setback, our lovers were determined to have a good time.
We are so buzzing, I can't
And
tell
I've
you, we're
just told
so
Sally
excited.
that we're engaged, because she didn't know what it's for. She went, what? What? She was in shock.
Oh my God.
Going
I
to
know.
Miami.
The holiday was to bring both sets of families together. The prices and the Andres. Everything was ticking along nicely until someone rumbled some rather large cameras on board.
Started off like
filming
this.
up there, Pete. That was a big camera, that one.
Paranoia set in. Although they weren't the press, Peter and Katie discovered later that day that the paparazzi were on board the ship. The press seemed to have the upper hand. There were paps installed on the boat and on the island of San Juan.
We've got paparazzi here, and he is... Where is he now? Come for a walk, I'll show you who he is.
Annoyed by the fact that his family were being hassled, Pete's big brother Danny decided to get tough.
Say hello to the...
Hey, listen, you want to do yourselves a favour, you've got two guys on the boat. We're not on the boat, alright?
Yeah, we know that.
but you're here then. Huh?
But you're here. We didn't turn it off. When do you turn it off? Hey, can I wear your hat?
certainly can.
Hang on, take one of both of us. Come, mate, both of us. Both of us, man. You've got on your shoulder, both of us.
Jordan, you know, has made a living out of photographs.
Well, I'm not Jordan.
I'm not photographing you, and I'm not interested in
You've taken about 6 shots already.
I'm not, I can't. It flashes.
It flashes.
Yeah. So
automatically with the sun. Anyway, all right. England, paparazzi is what they look like, slime balls.
Peter and Katie decided to stay on board, not wishing to concede a shot to the Paps.
Well, we won't be seeing you lot again.
The following day on the island of St. Thomas, a day's diamond shopping seemed to lift Katie and Peter's spirits for a while.
This is your diamond date. It just came out.
Is it real? This
Of
isn't.
course, 101%. Pink sapphires,
Oh, that's gorgeous.
white diamonds on the other side.
Oh, you've got to get that.
You'll never ever see it.
I do like that.
Cash price. Right on. Yours.
But it soon became apparent that they weren't alone and that the paparazzi were still on their tails.
No, it's getting the camera out now, Kate.
You lot got to go and approach him and I'll go that way.
Why are you guys walking away? Hey? You guys walk the other way, mate. Keep walking, you fucking cockroach.
What makes them any different to a stalker or a pervert?
A gunman is his gun, and these photographers, their only weapon is their lens, because that's their proof of things. But without their lens, they are nothing but little pussies.
Me and Pete choose to be in the public eye. That's fair enough, and we know we should expect it. When you're with your family and there's kids, they don't choose to be in it, so I find it unfair that they're being vultures and following us around, because it's not fair on the family because they don't choose to be in it.
The press did get their shot that day. When the story made it to the British tabloids, Peter's attempts to buy Katie a ring had been painted in a less than favourable light. The stress began to take its toll on our lovers.
Like they said about the ring in the shop. So what if you bust the money down? So what? Everyone does it, don't they?
Yeah, well, I won't go to his shop again, will I?
No, it just makes me laugh. What? Because we're in the public eye, we can't buy, we have to pay the given price.
With everyone convinced that Peter and Katie were about to tie the knot, paparazzi attention was relentless. What started out as a holiday of a lifetime soon became a holiday from hell.
The press seems to think that it's a wedding. Where'd they get that from? Who has told them that it's a wedding? No one's told them it's a wedding. It's just their own guesstimate. It's a load of crap, if you ask me. You know, it annoys me because we've had idiots hiding in the bushes, you know, on
Even
top
on this
of
trip.
on the beach, you know. I mean, for God's sake, we're just trying to bond as two families.
From St. Thomas to St. Martin's to Puerto Rico, the paparazzi just wouldn't leave them alone.
Why don't you leave us alone?
Because we're here to do a job. If someone gets the picture of them two together being all huggy, lovey, and it gets printed, then everyone's going to go home, so it's not worth being here.
If you don't want to be photographed by the Paps, come out, stand, smile, pose. The following day, come out, stand, smile, pose. But the fifth day, you